the madness from the sea. If heaven ever wishes to grant me a boon, it will be the total effacing of the results of a mere chance, which fixed my eyes on a certain stray piece of shelf paper. It was nothing on which I would naturally have stumbled in the course of my daily round, for it was an old number of an Australian journal, the Sydney Bulletin from April 18, 1925. It had escaped even the cutting bureau, which had at the time of its issuance been avidly collecting material for my uncle's research. I had largely given over my inquiries into what Professor Angell called the cult of Cthulhu, and was visiting a learned friend in Patron, New Jersey, the curator of a local museum and a mineralogist of note. Examining one day the reserved specimens roughly set on the storage shelves in a rear room of the museum, my eye was caught by an odd picture in one of the old papers spread beneath the stones. It was from the Sydney Bulletin I have mentioned, for my friend had wide affiliations in all conceivable foreign parts, and the picture was a half-tone cut of a hideous stone image, almost identical to that which Lovecraft had found in the swamp. Eagerly clearing the sheet of its precious contents, I scanned the item in detail, and was disappointed to find it of only moderate length. What it suggested, however, was of portentous significance to my flagging quest, and I carefully tore it out for immediate action. It read as follows: Mysterious derelict found at sea. Vigilant arrives with helpless armed New Zealand yacht in tow. One survivor and dead man found aboard. Tale of desperate battle and death at sea. Rescued seaman refuses particulars of strange experience. Odd idol found in his possession. Inquiry to follow. The Morrison Coast freighter Vigilant, bound for Valparaiso, arrived this morning at its wharf in Darlington Harbour, having in tow the battered and disabled but heavily armed yacht Alert of Dunedin, New Zealand, which was sighted April 12th in the southern latitude 3421, western longitude 152.17, with one living and one dead man aboard. The Vigilant left Valparaiso March 25th, and on April 2nd was driven considerably south of her course by exceptionally heavy storms and monster waves. On April 12th, the derelict was sighted, and though apparently deserted, was found upon boarding to contain one survivor in half-delirious condition, and one man who had evidently been dead for more than a week. The living man was clutching a horrible stone idol of unknown origin, about a foot in length, regarding whose nature authorities at the Sydney University, the Royal Society, and the museum in College Street all profess complete bafflement, and which the survivor says he found in the cabin of the yacht in a small carved shrine of common pattern. This man, after recovering his senses, told an extraordinarily strange story of piracy and slaughter. He was Gustav Jonasson, a Norwegian of some intelligence, and had been the second mate of the two-masted schooner Emma of Ortland, which sailed from Callao February 20th with a complement of 12 men. The Emma, he says, was delayed and thrown widely south of her course by the great storm of March 1st, and on March 22nd, in southern latitude 4951, western longitude 128.34, encountered the Alert, manned by a queer and evil-looking crew. Being ordered peremptorily to turn back, Captain Collins refused, whereupon the strange crew began to fire savagely and without warning upon the schooner with a peculiarly heavy battery of brass cannons forming part of the yacht's equipment. The Emma's men shrewd fight, says the survivor, and though the schooner began to sink from shots beneath the waterline, they managed to heave alongside their enemy and board her, grappling with the savage crew on the yacht's deck and being forced to kill them all, the number being slightly superior because of their particularly abhorrent and desperate, though rather clumsy mode of fighting. 3 of Emma's men, including Captain Collins and First Mate Green, were killed, and the remaining 8 under Second Mate Jonasson proceeded to navigate the captured vessel, going ahead in their original direction to see if any reason for their ordering back had existed. The next day, it appeared, they raised and landed on a small island, although none is known to exist in that part of the ocean, and 6 of the men somehow died ashore, though Jonasson is queerly reticent about this part of his story and spoke only of their falling into a rock chasm. Later, it seemed he and one companion boarded the yacht and tried to manage her, but were beaten about by the storm of April 2nd. From that time until his rescue on the 12th, the man remembers little, and the man does not even recall when William Bryden, his companion, died. Bryden's death reveals no apparent cause and was probably due to excitement or exposure. Cable advises from Dinner-Dane and report that the Alert was well known there as an island trader and bore an evil reputation along the waterfront. Its owner was a curious group of men whose frequent meetings and night trips to the woods attracted no little curiosity, and it had set sail in great haste just after the storm and earth tremors of March 1st. Our Auckland correspondent gives Emma and her crew an excellent reputation, and Jonas is described as a sober and worthy man. The Admiralty will institute an inquiry on the whole matter beginning tomorrow, at which every effort will be made to induce Jonasson to speak more freely than he had done hitherto. This was all, together with the picture of the hellish image, but what a train it started in my mind. Here were new treasures of data on the Cthulhu cult, and evidence it had strange interests at sea as well as on land. What motives prompted the hybrid crew to order back the Emma as they sailed about with their hideous idol? What was the unknown island on which 6 of the Emma's crew had died, and about which the mate Jonasson was so secretive? What had the Vice Admiralty's investigation brought out, and what was known of noxious cult in Dinner-Dane? And most marvellous of all, what deep and more than natural link of dates was this which gave a maligned and now undeniable significance to the various turn of events so carefully noted by my uncle?